Good evening. First of all, I'd like to invite you to join us in a land acknowledgement, and then we'll walk through a couple more details about how tonight's going to go. First, we invite our audiences and team to join us as we honor our elders for the care of the land for which we perform, with a land acknowledgement to recognize and respect Indigenous peoples and their traditional territories. We acknowledge that we are on the ancestral homeland of the Ute, Cheyenne, and Arapaho peoples. We also recognize the 48 contemporary Indigenous tribes and nations who have historically called Colorado home. May this acknowledgement express our commitment to grow and deepen our relationships with the vibrant Indigenous communities who continue to thrive and uphold their sacred relation to this land. If you'd like to know more about land acknowledgement, please come find me after the show. I'd be glad to share more information. Welcome to Athena Project's 10th annual Plays in Progress series. Woohoo! My name is Angela Astle, and I'm the proud executive producer and founder of Athena Project, and I'm so excited to bring you the second in our series of plays by women this weekend. We've been bringing new works to audiences since we first started in the summer of 2012, and we are grateful to be able to take advantage of people joining us from all over the world, including some of our very own team members, all on live stream, as we are telling these stories. For those of you who may not have heard, women are underrepresented in the arts, especially playwrights, and that's what this series is all about. Uplifting those voices of women artists and empowering women through the arts is our mission. When we use the term women, we recognize that it does not automatically include all aspects of the gender spectrum. We wish to continue to create a safer space for the expression and growth for all women, non-binary, and LGBTQIA+ individuals. At Athena Project, we value the inherent power in the artistic voices of women, equity, diversity, and inclusion, equal opportunities, representation, and pay, equitable access to the arts, the creative process, and the power of art to connect communities. If this is your first time engaging with us, welcome. Our goal for doing new works in this format is to pique audience members' curiosity about both the underrepresentation of women playwrights and how you can help uplift women's voices. We wish for you also to escape your world for just a tiny bit and hear the stories of others. We invite you to listen intently, and then please visit our website, athenaprojectarts.org, for a link to a super short survey sharing your thoughts and opinions about the play that you experience with us tonight. We will also be holding a live post-show conversation, and that will be led by our dramaturg, Bethany Wood, and she will get us started immediately following the reading. You can also leave comments in the live streaming section if you are watching online. Please note that there is about a 20-second delay, but I'll be monitoring the link, and we'll get your questions worked in the room as much as possible. If you would take a moment to please double check your cell phones and make sure that they're off for this evening. We will be we will be reading the play with no intermission today. For a reminder, these are works in progress. So for most playwrights, this is the first time that they're hearing their scripts aloud. The table reading that you're about to experience is a super special format as it gives the audiences a unique sneak peek as to what actually happens at the very beginning of a new play's development. It's as if we are in the living room of the playwright, which is where these typically take place. Stage directions are read aloud, and actors have only been asked to read the script just once prior to gathering with us today. As mentioned, we invite you to listen intently and give feedback via a survey afterwards on our website. Again, that website is athenaprojectarts.org. And remember, all feedback, all constructive feedback is welcome and appreciated. The box office, unfortunately, does not come close to covering the cost of putting on new play development productions, and artists need our support now more than ever. It's still a long road to recovery, for theater artists especially, so if you are able to make an additional donation tonight, we would be forever grateful. If you like what you see here today and you want to get more involved in our organization, I'm the person to talk to afterwards. We have plenty of volunteer opportunities, and I'd be glad to share with you ways that you can engage and get involved. As mentioned, women are underrepresented in the arts, especially in leadership positions, and we are so proud to share these stories with you tonight and uplift the voices of women playwrights. Without further ado, thank you for your attention to Polar Bear Society by Megan Mageri.
Polar Bear Society by Megan Mageri. Content warning. This play portrays issues related to mental health, including bipolar disorder, anxiety, depression, and mentions of suicide. Setting. A virtual audio-only group. A large multimedia screen serves as the play's backdrop. In addition to media the teens consume, the screen also shows icons including who has entered the virtual room. Each teen is in their respective bedroom. Moxie's is a rundown apartment. It's messy and decorated with loud colors. Gravity has a tidy room in a middle-class colonial home. Every item is in place just so, including a bookshelf with STEM books. Treble has a cluttered room in an upper-class home. Moody colors and many instruments. Act 1, Scene 1. Lights up on a teen bedroom in a rundown apartment, stage left. Belongings are strewn about haphazardly, giving the impression that the room has just been hit by a tornado. That tornado is named Moxie. She's wearing camo cargo pants, a midriff tank, and large headphones. Her hair is streaked with hot pink. She's typically buzzing around, doing at least 2 things at once. Right now, she's snacking on Ben & Jerry's ice cream, Cherry Garcia, and dancing. The audience can't hear the music, giving this a comedic effect. An alarm sounds. The Black Eyed Peas song, Let's Get It Started. She sits at an ancient computer.
Showtime!
An icon appears on the screen backdrop. It says, Moxie is freaking awesome, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, has entered the room.
Moxie is frickin' awesome, tuning in and signing on.
Lights up on Gravity's tidy room, center stage. Gravity is thin, too thin, really, and dressed in preppy attire. She holds an unopened letter from Yale University. A typical alarm beeps. She sets the letter aside and opens a laptop. On screen, Gravity 314 has entered the room. Moxie pulls a kazoo from her pocket and blows on it.
Hear ye, let the 93rd Polar Bear Society meeting commence.
Lights up on Treble's somewhat cluttered room. Moody colors and musical instruments. In a Nirvana t-shirt and beanie, Treble is a calming force. He's lying in bed, somewhat disheveled. Another alarm sounds. Beethoven's Symphony No. 5. He picks up an iPad and sits in bed. On screen, Treble 2004 has entered the room.
All those who are present will please say present.
Our screen names are clearly visible in the room.
For all I know, you could have entered the room and then gotten sucked into a black hole.
The nearest black hole is 1,000 light years away in the constellation Telescopium, so I find that highly unlikely.
Show off. You know, if you'd allow video, I wouldn't need to double check.
We agree to anonymity.
Some more than others. I live at 420 El Camino Real, Unit 11, the seedy place next to the taco truck. And for Pete's sake, Gravity, do not embarrass me in front of the newbie. Welcome, Treble.
Hey.
Me virtual support group, Su virtual support group.
That's Gravity's awkward-ass way of welcoming you into the group. She's homeschooled.
Oh, cool. Are there... Will it just be the 3 of us?
Quality over quantity, as the saying goes.
The bylaws can be intimidating.
You did get a chance to review the bylaws, right, Treb?
Yeah, very thorough.
36 pages were definitely necessary.
Moxie's method, rule number 4. You need to know your destination if you want to get there.
Moxie's method?
Here we go.
I'm glad you asked, Treb. Moxie's method, 25 steps to being freaking awesome. Written by yours truly. Currently a work in progress, but I expect it to grace the bestseller lists in 2 to 5 years. Newsflash, Gravity, you are the loudest eye roller in all of history. Now, let's get the show on the road, shall we? It's happy hour time.
Moxie turns on an old-school boombox. It plays Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi. She dances to it.
I thought we agreed to refrain from happy hour metaphors.
Moxie turns the music down, but continues to dance.
You agreed with yourself. I agreed to nothing. Besides, I will not allow my condition to stop me from experiencing a good old-fashioned happy hour.
You're 16. You can't go to happy hour because you're 16.
Well, I've been told I can pass for 32.
Yeah, right.
How would you know? You've never seen my beautiful face.
Audio only is, an interesting choice.
We met in the middle.
Yeah, now nobody's happy. In any case, excuse me if I happen to think happy hour sounds better than it's time to take our psychotropic meds. Back me up here, Treb.
As a new member, I'm not sure
2 to 1. Happy hour it is. Polar bears, grab your bottles and make your cocktails.
Moxie shakes her pill organizer like a maraca. Gravity gets 3 pill bottles from her desk drawer. Treble gets 1 bottle from his nightstand. Moxie raises a pill.
And cheers!
They take their pills. Treble takes 1, Moxie takes 2, Gravity takes 3. Moxie chugs soda, Treble sips from a coffee mug, Gravity drinks from a water bottle. Moxie plays her kazoo.
In today's Polar Bear News, we have 2 new member announcements.
Moxie pulls out a huge poster board. It says Polar Bear Society on the top. It has photos of members such as Carrie Fisher, Sylvia Plath, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Ernest Hemingway, Vincent van Gogh, and Virginia Woolf.
First, the newest honorary member of Polar Bear Society is, drumroll please, pop star and total goddess Selena Gomez.
Grabbing a magazine clipping of Selena's face.
Let's see, where can I put her? How about below Princess Leia and beside Sylvia Plath? Presto. Thanks for joining Team Polar Bear, Selena. We are so proud to have you. Next, please join me in a round of applause to welcome new member, Treble!
Moxie plays a kazoo and presses a computer key. A confetti GIF appears on the screen.
Would you like to say a few words of introduction?
Sure. I'm...
Friendly reminder, no identifying information.
Unless you'd like to.
Right. I'm Treble, and, I'm sort of not sure what to say.
I suggest location, grade, a hobby, and maybe how you found us.
Oh, okay. Boston, Mass. Incoming senior, and music. I like to compose. Haven't been able to do that recently, though, with everything, and... I found you on the BP Hope website.
Nice.
How long have you been a polar bear?
It's sort of complicated. I just started therapy and no diagnosis yet. My doctor, he said I'm kind of a question mark, so...
So maybe you're jumping the gun?
The thing is, the medication I was prescribed last week, it's for seizures, and
For polar bears?
Well, yeah, and I don't get seizures.
In that case, I commend you on your proactive attitude. A real self-starter.
Honestly, I'm here out of desperation. I don't know a single person with this.
Lots of polar bears keep their condition on the DL. If you share what you're going through, people will come out of the woodworks, trust me.
So you're open about it?
Well, with me, it's not really a choice. I wear my emotions on my metaphorical sleeve.
It's okay to keep it to yourself. I do.
To be fair, I'm not sure Gravity talks to anybody besides me, her parents, and her shrink, and we all know.
That's not untrue. A heads up, Treble. The first few months can be the hardest.
Don't frighten him, Grav.
I just don't want him to get discouraged if things don't smooth out right away.
It is usually a lot of trial and error at first, especially with finding the right med regimen, but look at the time. Let's move on to personal news. Gravity, have you heard from Yale yet?
Gravity reaches for the unopened Yale letter, stares at it.
No.
Yale. That's... wow.
It's not like I've gotten in.
Yet. You haven't gotten in yet, but you will. Grav is a genius.
Liam, dinner!
Okay. Sorry, I have to run. Thanks for having me. This group is a lifesaver.
Staying out of the 20%, one meeting at a time.
20%? What 20%?
Jesus, Grav, you know the bylaws. No statistics. If you want my advice, Treb, don't Google anything. You'll get the urge, we all do, but resist it as long as humanly possible. And remember, you are not your diagnosis. You are not a statistic. You are you.
Lights out on Treble. On screen, Treble 2004 has left the chat.
We do not discuss statistics with new members, Grav, especially day one. You know better.
It's lit. And sugarcoating it isn't healthy.
I don't sugarcoat. I focus on the positives. There's a difference.
I don't see why we need a new member anyway.
Well, you can't have a society with only 2 people.
If you say so.
Speaking of, I was hoping you and Treble could buddy up.
I'm not really the buddy type.
I do it, but, well, you know what happened with the last one.
Next time, maybe you don't ask for our home address.
I wanted to send a care package. And anyway, will you buddy up? Pretty please with Cherry Garcia on top?
Lights out. Scene 2. Lights up on treble and gravity.
So, thanks for checking in.
To be perfectly honest, it was Moxie's idea. Apparently the bylaws have a buddy clause.
Oh, right. The bylaws.
Between you and me, I haven't read a single page.
You and Moxie are a unique pairing, sort of like
Oil and water?
a bit, yeah. How'd you meet?
A virtual NAMI teen event. A couple of years ago, Moxie started messaging me privately, and long story short, she never really stopped. It was kind of...
Annoying?
Yes, but also in a weird way comforting. A lot of people have come and gone over the years, but Moxie, she's been my constant. So, how are you? I didn't scare you away already, did I?
No, it's just the way you wrote that message with the period after the so. It sounded just like my psychiatrist. He starts every session with so, pregnant pause. How are you?
Now that you mention it, mine does too. Oh God, what next for me? Pleated khakis and a pleather couch? I told Moxie I wouldn't be good at this.
Hey, I'd been starting to seriously doubt whether I was physically capable of laughter anymore. Now I know that's not the case. As far as your question, I'm kind of not great, I guess. Been feeling... How can I describe it? Sort of like I'm in slow motion or something.
That's normal. Talk to your doctor. He'll probably prescribe an antidepressant to help with energy.
A med to keep me down and a med to keep me up. Sort of ironic, isn't it? So, you're homeschooled. That's...
Weird? Lonely? Isolating?
Cool. I was going to say cool.
Sorry. I can get defensive. It wasn't exactly by choice. School was my kryptonite since the first grade.
You were young then, when it, started?
Took 7 years to get the right diagnosis. Tough to see the forest through the trees. In a way, it made it more manageable, always knowing I was different.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I had no idea this was coming. I mean, looking back, I see warning signs, but mostly, I was your typical kid. Then, last spring, my aunt died. Suddenly, her heart, it just stopped. She was only 42, in great health, vegetarian, marathon runner. She had the most infectious laugh. You couldn't be in the room with her when she was laughing and not crack up. 1 minute, she was there, so full of life, and the next, I remember this intense feeling coming over me. It wasn't sadness. It was more overwhelmed, like I was drowning and couldn't catch my breath. One night, the 4th of July, I was lying in bed and heard fireworks outside. Pop, 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 pop. I used to love watching them. I told myself at least go out to the front yard. Maybe you can see them, but I couldn't even get to the window. Finally, I started a really low dose of an antidepressant and...
And you had a bad reaction?
Saw 3 of me staring back in the bathroom mirror. How'd you know?
Same thing happened to me. My hallucination involved zombies, a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and oddly enough, flannel sheets.
It's... Well, they say whatever it is that I have, it's likely a mild case.
But it doesn't feel mild, right?
No, it doesn't. I want to be an attorney before all this. A musician on the side, but an attorney for my day job, human rights. Now...
It will be harder for you, I think.
Why? We're in the same boat now, aren't we?
Yes and no. You had time to be normal, to dream about the life you wanted. I never got that chance.
Whenever I try to imagine what's, next, the future, all I see is black, nothing, and the suffocating feeling takes over again.
When I was 13, I had a good run. Almost a whole year where I felt really good. I saw an interview on TV with Mae Jemison, the first black woman to ever travel into space. And I convinced myself that I was going to be an astronaut, just like Mae. I had my mom get me a spacesuit and I wore it every day. But I get sick on airplanes, and I'm claustrophobic. Not exactly a good combination for space flight. My mom finally sat me down for a long talk and we came up with a new plan. I wouldn't be on spaceships. I'd help build them.
At least you won't have to worry about motion sickness.
Not to mention that it'll be a heck of a lot easier to pee on the job. It gets easier. Don't get me wrong. It may get hard at first, but eventually you make adjustments. You just get used to it.
That's the thing. I don't want to get used to it. I want to go back. Back to before my aunt died. Back to when I was me. But I can't do that, can I?
Lights out. Scene 3. Lights up on Moxie staring at her phone. On screen, voicemail, Mom. Lights up on Gravity and Treble. On screen, Gravity 314 has entered the chat. Treble 2004 has entered the chat.
Odd. Moxie's never late.
You said it was her birthday, right? Maybe her family surprised her with a cake or something.
Lights dim on Treble and Gravity. Moxie hits play on the voicemail, puts the phone to her ear.
Happy 17th birthday, honey. Do you remember when you turned 5? You wanted a Wonder Woman costume. I couldn't afford it, so I sewed one myself. It didn't turn out too well. No one knew who you were and the top kept falling off. But you taped it up and wore that thing around like it cost $1 million. You were so adorable. I couldn't stop smiling every time I look at you.
Moxie hits stop. Then she punches the wall. Lights back up on Gravity and Treble.
I'll message her. Hey, Mox, you there?
Hear ye, let the 95th Polar Bear Society meeting commence.
The big 1-7. Happy birthday.
Did you have cake?
Cake? Right. Yeah, so much cake. My belly is exploding. My auntie made a special Cherry Garcia one, which, can we all just agree, is by far the best ice cream flavor on the face of this earth? And the presents, yes, so many presents. My lips are tired from smiling. Anywho, let's jump right in. Polar bears, make those cocktails. Cheers.
Moxie and Gravity take their pills. Treble doesn't.
And now for the main celebratory event, a viewing of Cameron Crowe's classic, Say Anything.
Haven't heard of it.
Because no teenager has. Moxie likes movies older than Methuselah.
Speak human, Grav.
The oldest star in the universe.
1. Say Anything was made in 1989, not prehistoric times. 2. It's not my fault that sans Nancy Meyers, Hollywood can't make a good rom-com anymore. 3. It has the best movie scene ever invented, starring a young John Cusack in his infamous trench coat.
No, just no.
May I remind you, Gravity, that on a certain someone's birthday, we held a 24-hour virtual Dungeons and Dragons campaign.
If we must.
Moxie gets the movie clip ready. Gravity picks up a book.
Okay, let's skip ahead to the best part. And don't say you're participating and then go and read some STEM book. I'll know in my heart of hearts whether you're actually watching. Capiche?
The three friends watch their devices. On screen, it's the famous scene where John Cusack stands beneath the window and holds a boombox over his head.
Please, if a guy ever held up a boombox outside of my window, I'd throw tomatoes at him.
Maybe a banana cream pie.
Even better, all that whipped cream.
For crying out loud, do neither of you have a romantic bone in your body? That is a grand romantic gesture.
It's corny.
And cheesy.
Which is the whole entire point. You have to check your ego at the door and look like a total doofus to prove your love. Only then will you get your HEA, happily ever after. But forget it.
Gravity turns the movie off.
Hey, I was actually having fun making fun of that.
Well, I was not having fun listening to you making fun of it. Let's just move on to our regularly scheduled meeting, starting with personal news. Who would like to get us started?
Gravity pulls out the Yale letter, still unopened.
I looked it up, the 20% from the other day. I know you said not to, but
No. Per the bylaws, absolutely no statistics.
Sorry, it's just now I sort of can't think about anything else.
It's natural to do some research. I don't mind talking about it.
Fine. You talk about it then. There are more presents for me to open anyway.
Treble, I assume the 20% you were referring to was...
Suicide. Yeah. That 20% of polar bears.
Whoa. No S word.
You said you wouldn't be involved in the conversation.
Yeah, well, I changed my mind. The S word is off limits.
Avoiding the issue won't make it untrue. The fact of the matter is suicide...
I don't need this. Not on my birthday. I'm signing off.
Moxie, wait, I'm sorry. It's my fault. I started it. Please don't.
On screen, Moxie is freaking awesome! ! Has signed off. Lights out on Moxie.
Damn. I should have known better. Sorry.
It's okay. This is on her, not you. She wouldn't want me to tell you, but the reason she's so upset is that, you see, her mom is a polar bear, and, well, she...
Oh, shit. She's not... Is she one of the 20%?
No, but she is one of the 50% who've attempted, and Moxie found her.
Lights out on Gravity and Treble. Lights up on Moxie. She holds a plate with a donut and a lit candle and sings.
Happy birthday, dear Moxie. Happy birthday to you.
Lights out. Scene 4. Lights up. Gravity and Treble are outside under the stars, devices between them. Even though it's a virtual hangout, somehow it feels intimate. The screen is the night sky, filled with constellations.
And you're sure she'll be okay?
She gets like that sometimes. Her anger boils over. She just needs a night to cool off.
So, remind me, the North Star, part of the Big Dipper?
Close. The little one. Tip of the handle. 680 light years away.
Light years. I really should know what that is.
The distance light travels in 1 year.
So then the light from that star
is 680 years old. It's like looking into the past, like time travel. During the day, I study, I read, I keep the intrusive thoughts at bay, but when the sun goes down, my mind digs up every mistake, every embarrassment, like they're queued up on a playlist. I come out here, I look up, and somehow it helps.
That's like me in writing music. It's the only time my mind quiets, the only time I feel peace. So, Yale for you next year, huh?
Gravity takes out the unopened Yale letter. She looks at it, sighs, and then pushes it away.
You're a senior too, right? Are you applying?
I'm still, I'm weighing my options, and you see that? A shooting star.
Where?
Oh, maybe it was just an airplane. Truth is, I'm sort of a mess. I haven't been able to compose, haven't been able to do anything, really. Not since this all began. I have no idea how to do this. How to be sick and how to be alive. I wish there was a blood test or something, or a scan that they could do on my brain, anything that I could hold in my hands that could tell me this is what you have, this is the reason you're the way you are. Right now it feels like my psychiatrist is a blind man throwing darts. It could be this, it could be that. Try this and see what happens. No rhyme or reason to it. Science, medicine, they're supposed to give you answers, not more questions. Right?
Time will tell, usually.
And in the meantime,
happy hour with me and Moxie. Hear ye, hear ye. Let the 95th Polar Bear Society meeting commence.
every time I sit on that couch, every time I take a pill, it reminds me that I'm...
different?
Maybe I don't even have this. Maybe my reaction to that med wasn't what my doctor thought. I'd had a bunch of coffee, or maybe it could have been an allergic reaction. I don't know. We can't know. Not for sure. Can we?
The human brain is like the universe. There's so much we don't know.
So what, am I just supposed to take them, the meds, anyway? Every day for the rest of my life?
It's not necessarily forever. For some, meds are like when you break your arm. You may need a splint for a while to get things straightened out, but once you're healed, you can remove it, right?
And for you, will it be like that? Like a splint?
For me, the meds are like glasses for my brain. I was 11 when I got my actual glasses. I remember stepping outside the ophthalmologist's office. I looked up and gasped, "Leaves!" I'd seen green blobs on top of trees before, sure, but I've never seen the individual leaves, not like this. So many shades of color, like stained glass in the afternoon sunlight, and the way they danced in the breeze. The meds, they're to help me see. To notice all the beautiful tiny things I was missing out on before.
You know, since all this happened, the only time I felt like me, the real me, is when we're talking. You and me. Would you want to FaceTime?
Oh,
Never mind. It was a stupid idea. Let's just go back to looking up at the.
Yes. Yes, I want to FaceTime.
Gravity and Trouble get their devices, hold them up, and look at each other for the first time.
Hey.
Hey.
Lights out. Scene 5. Lights up on Moxie and Gravity. Gravity's staring at the Yale letter again. It's still unopened.
He's late. Again.
You remember how it is at the beginning. Cut him some slack.
I completed the newbie background check on him per usual, but he's always disappearing or late or... You think there could be something fishy going on? Cat-fishy?
No, not possible.
All this time, I've been picturing him as Timothy Chalamet from Little Women. Sexy, but boyishly handsome. Meanwhile, he's Anthony Hopkins from Silence of the Lambs. A murderous...
Treble is not a catfish.
How do you know? I mean, have you ever actually seen him? For all we know, he could be a 34-year-old convict named Brenda who's in jail for stabbing her evil twin sister and...
FaceTime.
What?
Treble and I, we FaceTimed.
As in you saw his frickin' face with your own frickin' eyes?
That's generally what the term refers to.
Heart attack. Mind blown. Brains splattered on the ceiling.
Gross.
To think you, the anonymity queen, actually showed yourself practically to a total stranger?
Please do not make a big deal out of it.
How long has this been going on for exactly?
Like a week or two? Maybe a handful of times. Usually only a couple of minutes.
I need specifics. Those couple of minutes. Was it, the hot and heavy kind?
What? No.
I'm just saying, a lot can be accomplished in 120 seconds. A lot.
Trouble isn't a catfish. That's all I wanted you to know. Now, can we please move on?
Sure, of course, definitely. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like him?
Moxie, I do not.
Lights up on a groggy Trouble. He just woke up from a nap.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
Gasp, look at the time. Better get this meeting started. In today's Polar Bear news, a very big congratulations to pop icon Demi Lovato, whose recent release, Anyone, debuted at #1 on the Billboard charts. In personal news, I finished Chapter 7 of Moxie's Method, Ki, How to Be a Mental Health Ninja. Grav, you haven't shared for a while.
Gravity pulls out the unopened Yale letter, stares at it.
A letter. I got a letter from Yale.
Way to bury the lead. Well, what did it say?
I don't know. It's sealed.
Allow me to explain. Letters, an ancient form of written communication. You have to open the envelope in order to reveal its contents. Now, will you please just open the damn thing? You are literally killing me.
I find that hard to believe given we are literally 3,000 miles apart. But here goes nothing.
Gravity opens the letter, silently scans it.
An interview. They're inviting me for an interview.
This is good news, Gravity.
Heck yeah, it is. You're in the running.
The application didn't say anything about an interview. I would have remembered an interview.
I was sweating bullets during my Chuck E. Cheese interview. The guy refused to take off his 8-foot mouse costume. Talk about intimidating.
This interview is not happening.
Because?
You wouldn't understand. You can't.
Okay, make me then.
My heart races. I see black spots and I go silent. Whenever I try to do this sort of thing, if I don't go, then at least I still have a chance.
A perfect score on the essay frickin' T's. No matter how it goes, they'll want you. They're just dotting their I's and crossing their T's, making sure you're not a future serial killer, that sort of thing. Back me up here, Treb.
Maybe. My opinion doesn't matter.
I say we test the waters, do some practice questions. What do you say, Grav?
Honestly, I'd rather venture into capitalism.
Newsflash, if you don't do the interview, they're not letting you in.
Gravity paces.
Okay, I'll try, but no promises.
Awesome sauce. Okay, first question.
Lights out, then a bright spotlight. It illuminates only Gravity like she's a police suspect.
So, tell me about yourself.
Lights out. Scene 6. Lights up. Night. Gravity's dark room. Moonlight streams in through the window. In a suit jacket, Gravity is slumped on the edge of her bed, the weight of the world on her shoulders. Lights up on Treble, typing on his device.
Hey, sorry to bother you so late. You there?
Gravity stares at her device. Finally, she turns on a small desk lamp and types.
Let me guess. Moxie had you check up on me?
You never miss. So, how, do you not want me to ask?
Either way, you will.
Yeah.
Fine. It went fine.
Oh, great. I mean, good. That's good. I'm glad. Did they,
Not to be rude, but can we please not talk about it?
I wouldn't have to tell Moxie. It could just be between...
Please, Treble. Talk to me about something, anything else.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see. Homecoming was tonight. First one I've missed. Somehow my friends always talk me into going, and somehow it turns into a fun night, but I guess been to one school dance, been to them all, you know?
Actually, no, I don't.
Tell me you've been to a dance before.
I did slow dance with my Uncle Fred once, at a wedding when I was 11. Does that count?
No, it does not.
Isn't it awkward?
Oh, yeah. Awkward, sweaty, possibly the most excruciating experience of your entire life, but you haven't lived until you've survived your first awkward slow dance. That's it. We're doing this. We are slow dancing.
What? How?
The same way we do everything. Virtually. You and me. Right here. Right now.
But why can't I think of a valid excuse to get out of this?
Because one doesn't exist. Any music preferences?
Treble searches his music. On screen, a song list appears.
The Twist by Chubby Checker?
Nice try. This should work.
Treble selects Rainbow by Casey Musgrave. The link appears on screen.
I sent a link. Hit play on the count of 3, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Gravity hesitates. Then finally she hits play. Treble slowly walks into Gravity's room. Her nerves kick in, his do too. They stand far apart in true school dance fashion. The screen is a rainy sky.
I can't do this.
Give it a minute.
Maybe if I close my eyes.
They close their eyes. Treble steps closer. Gravity steps closer, hesitates. Treble steps closer. This continues until finally they are only a few feet apart. Gravity reaches her hands out for Treble, then retracts them. Treble does the same. Gravity places her hands on Treble's shoulders. He stands still for a beat, then puts his hand on her waist.
You can come closer if you want.
Okay.
Treble steps closer. Their bodies are close together.
My heart. It's about to leap out of my chest.
Me too.
Can I put my head on your shoulder?
Okay.
Gravity puts her head on Treble's shoulder. On screen, a rainbow appears. Gravity leans closer to Treble as if she may kiss him. Their lips nearly touch. Gravity abruptly pulls away and turns the music off. On screen, the usual icon replaces the sky. Gravity is shell-shocked and out of breath. Treble opens his eyes.
Can I see you?
We already FaceTime almost every day.
In real life. Can I see you? In real life?
Lights out. Scene 7. Lights up on Treble. It's the middle of the night and he's frantically composing.
Yes, that's it. And then maybe... Yes!
Lights up on Moxie. She's in PJs and slightly groggy. On screen. Moxie is freaking awesome! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark has signed on.
Anybody around?
Hey, here.
You're up early. What is it, like 5 a.m. over there?
No, not early. Late.
Hold the printing presses. You haven't slept yet?
Not a wink.
Are you worried about Gravity too? Ever since the Yale thing, she won't respond to my messages. Something happened in that interview. I know it.
She said it went fine.
I even said that the space travel in A Wrinkle in Time was scientifically possible, but she didn't take the bait.
What?
It's one of Gravity's pet peeves. Anyway, something's wrong. I know it. Trev, you okay?
What? Oh, yeah, more than okay. Actually, it's been a brilliant night. Brilliant. I haven't composed for months. My mind's been all fog, but tonight the sun came out and finally I could see again. The notes, the music, it started playing in my mind like it used to. I'm back to myself, finally, back to me.
Oh, cool. Do you think your new meds have finally started working? I suppose that's good.
It's not going to be good. It's going to be great. I was so worried about my future, college, and all of that, but famous composers don't need college degrees, am I right?
Well, I mean...
You're friends with the next Beethoven, the next Bach. All this time, I've been holding myself back from my potential, from everything. And I owe a huge thanks to you and Polar Bear Society. I wouldn't have gotten through any of this, not a single day. Thank you.
Welcome?
And Gravity. I would fly all the way down to New Haven right now if I could and give her a big kiss. I feel that good. Hey, speaking of Gravity, do you think she likes me?
I don't think. I know.
I've wasted so much time. Why haven't I gone down to see her? Why haven't I told her how I feel?
If I could guess, probably because she's pushing you away. It's what Gravity does.
Then I have to push back. Maybe an email? Yeah, that's it, an email.
As in tonight?
It's like you always say, no better time than the present.
Yeah, the thing about love, Treb, it's a very delicate and time-sensitive matter.
Treble sits at his computer and begins typing.
All the more reason not to wait. What do you think for the subject line? Part of me wants to put it all out there, something like, I love you, in all caps, with lots of exclamation points, but I obviously can't do that.
Oh, thank God.
I've got it. Subject, you complete me. I bet you'll love that, right? Because, Jerry Maguire?
Yeah, I got the movie reference. Very clever. It's just that, well...
Treble stands on his chair and flaps his arms.
The sky is the limit. In fact, finally, I feel like there are no limits at all. Like I can fly. Fly with me, Moxie.
If I ask you something, will you promise not to take it the wrong way?
No time for questions. Fly with me, Moxie. Fly.
Have you been taking your meds?
Don't do that.
I'm not judging. I'm just concerned.
Treble gets down from the chair.
Because for the first time in months, I'm happy.
Are you going to answer the question or not?
You know what? Forget it. I thought this would be fun for you, since you love grand romantic gestures and all of that, but I don't need your help. I'm signing off.
Treb, wait! Stay and talk it out!
On screen, Trouble 2004 has signed off.
Damn.
A new text box appears on the screen.
Hey, Grav, we need to talk. Not about the interview, about Trouble.
Lights out. Scene 8. Lights up on Trouble. Sunlight streams in. Sprawled out in yesterday's clothes, Trouble slowly awakens. He's disoriented and disheveled. He puts a hand to his temple and grimaces. A bad migraine. Trouble looks at his phone.
3 p.m. What even happened last night?
He opens his laptop. On screen, Trouble sent emails, including an email to Gravity with the subject line, "You complete me."
Sent to Gravity at 5:30 a.m.? I don't remember.
On screen, the email comes up.
No. I know we've never met in person, and this may come off as totally crazy, but I'd rather seem crazy than keep the way I feel bottled up inside any longer. I love you, in all caps.
He slams the laptop closed. On screen, the email disappears.
How could I? What did I?
He quickly reopens his laptop and sends a message. On screen, a chat box appears.
Hey, Mox, are you there?
Lights up on Moxie. She's at a table in the school cafeteria, a bag of chips and soda. Her phone chimes. She picks it up and reads the message.
Please be there, please.
Yo, Treb, caught me at a lucky break. I'm at lunch.
It's an emergency.
Are you okay? Are you in the hospital?
What? No, why would I be in the hospital?
Well, do you remember last night?
It's, sort of a blur. That's why I'm writing. Was I acting weird?
Understatement of the century.
I sent an email to Gravity. It's bad. Really, really bad.
Which is why I told you not to send it. I'm sure it's nowhere near as bad as you think.
Maybe it'd be easier if I could, do you want to see it?
Good idea. Forward that baby on over to me.
On its way.
Trouble hits a few keys.
Okay, reading now. Holy Moses. What sort of wedding do you dream about? Because I'd say I do tomorrow.
It's the worst imaginable thing I could have ever sent, isn't it?
Oh, I won't lie to you, Treb. It is not exactly a molehill.
Gravity and I were just starting to build our connection, and now I've ruined everything.
Don't panic. Gravity has a strict schoolwork-only policy during the day. Normally it's completely annoying, but maybe she hasn't read this yet.
I can't delete it.
No, but you could ask her to. Gravity's cool. If you explain the situation, she totally will.
I can't. It's too embarrassing.
She's been avoiding me like the plague ever since the interview. But I can try, if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Lights dim on Trouble. On screen, a chat box between Moxie and Gravity opens.
Hey, Grav, we need to talk. Like I said, it's not about the interview. It's about Trouble, I swear.
Lights up on Gravity.
The email?
Ooh, you read it then?
I did. Just a minute ago. What? How is he?
Seems better, but embarrassed. He wasn't exactly himself when he sent that email, you know?
Yeah, I figured. He was having some sort of episode?
Big time.
And now?
Appears to be back to himself, but you know how it is.
The coming down is worse than the going up.
Exactly. Would it be okay if I said that you didn't read it?
Why? To Trouble? I don't know.
If he thinks he ruined things with you, I honestly don't know if he can handle it on top of everything.
All right, tell him whatever you need to, but please let him know I care and I'm here, okay?
Thanks, girl. Will do.
Lights out on Gravity. On screen, the chat box between Moxie and Gravity closes. On screen, the chat box between Trouble and Moxie opens.
Hey, I talked to her.
And?
She didn't read it, and she's going to delete it.
Oh, okay, cool. You wouldn't lie to me, would you? To, like, try to protect me or something? I mean, you were gone a while.
That is, I sorta had to cover for you since you sent the email so late.
Don't lie to me, Mox. Not about this. She read it, didn't she? That's what I thought. She read it, and now we'll never end. And I wanted answers this whole time, but now that I know, I wish I could... A question mark. Even if I was one before, this means that it's, or rather that I'm...
Trouble starts to hyperventilate.
Easy does it, Treb. You had a long night. The most important thing right now is to remain calm.
Calm? After how I was acting? You expect me to stay calm?
Where are you right now? Where you are right now? I've been here, remember? I know it isn't easy, but...
This whole time, I hoped this was all a big mistake, a misunderstanding, some nightmare I was going to wake up from. Even though I was coming to meetings, I didn't actually believe. And now, this means that it's... that I'm... that...
Deep breaths, Treb. In and out. One more.
I don't... What am I gonna do?
You're going to listen to me, and I'll walk you through it, okay? Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
First things first, we need to call your doctor.
It's his day off.
He'll have an emergency number. Grab your phone, Treb.
Trouble hesitates. Finally, he gets his phone. He stares at it, doesn't dial.
Listen to me, Treb. Tomorrow can and will be better than today. But first, you need to make a call.
Finally, he dials the number and puts the phone to his ear. Lights out. Scene 9. Lights up. Trouble lays in bed, one arm hanging out from under the comforter. Lights up on Gravity. She's texting on her phone.
Hey, it's been a few days. Thought I'd check in.
Chime in Trouble's room. Trouble checks his phone. He sighs, then hides under the comforter again.
Come on, Trouble. I know you're there. Are you... Delete. Are we okay?
Chime. Trouble grabs his phone, stays under the covers.
We haven't really talked since the email. I was hoping...
Trouble tosses the blanket off,
Oh God, the email.
typing on his phone.
Listen, I'm so sorry about that. The email, I wasn't... Delete. What can I say?
It's okay. More than okay.
I hope you can forgive me for... delete.
We've all been there, or at least I have. So please, don't worry.
Maybe self-deprecating humor?
Typing.
This was very out of character for me. You know, I usually wait until the third email to propose marriage. And send.
Oh, really? Because I usually pop the question in the second email. And a wink face.
On screen, a wink emoji appears.
You would. A wink face with a tongue sticking out.
On screen, an angry emoji appears.
Oops, sorry, clumsy thumbs. That was supposed to be.
On screen, a wink face emoji appears.
Switch to FaceTime?
Sure.
They press buttons on their devices.
Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
it's, okay, I guess. Given, you know, my doctor prescribed a new med, I'm gonna give it a shot this time.
Have you been able to talk to anyone about it? Besides your doctor?
There isn't anybody to talk to, not here anyway. Sometimes it's like I don't know how to be around people anymore. I've had the same group of friends since elementary school, 6 of us guys. Now they feel like strangers.
You haven't told them?
I don't want them to look at me weird, and I know they would. The most they have to worry about is having a zit on yearbook photo day or who to ask to prom. I watch them during lunch talking and laughing. So happy and carefree, and it...
Reminds you of how unhappy you are?
Have you thought about it?
About...
My invitation to see each other in person? You said you'd think about it.
Trouble...
I could come down to New Haven, meet you somewhere. It wouldn't have to be a long weekend or anything like that. Just maybe an hour or two at a coffee shop or something.
If we meet, that could change things. We could get attached.
And if I already am?
Then all the more reason not to see each other.
It's because of the email, isn't it? Because
No. I swear, no.
Then what?
You need to forget about me, to get as far away from me as you can.
If you don't want to see me, then just...
I do. More than anything.
Then why won't you at least...
You've got a chance at life, okay? A normal life. And I won't get in the way of that.
Me? That episode I had the other night. No, I'm not okay. Then there's you. I mean, Yale? That's big.
I don't want to talk about Yale.
You don't have to tell me what happened in the interview. I wish you would, but you don't have to. Even if it's not Yale, you're smart. You're going somewhere.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. You can't. You've only seen Gravity as I present myself in Polar Bear Society. Virtual me, not the real me, in the flesh. You have no idea who I really am.
You're right. I don't, but how can I know if you won't let me in?
You can't handle the real me.
Prove your point. Tell me one thing real, one thing I don't know, and then see if I go anywhere.
Okay, how's this? I barely leave my house and I can't even drive. My mom has to cart me around like a 5-year-old and... Until recently, I let myself believe that at some point a switch would flip and I'd just snap out of this. I'd be able to be a normal adult, do normal things like college and a job and maybe even have a boyfriend. No matter how bad things got, I never let myself think that this would be forever. But after what happened, I can't go on pretending this isn't for me. I know that now.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but in case you haven't noticed, my life hasn't exactly been a walk in the park either.
You're going through a rough patch, and I don't mean to minimize that, but it's a minor blip, a hiccup on your way back to a normal life. You said it yourself, a mild case. You'll find the right meds and you'll get better. I know you will. Some of us, well, we're not so lucky. I'm no good for you, Trouble. I'm no good for anybody.
I don't believe that. I won't.
Just wait. You'll see. I drag everyone down. That's me. Gravity.
You're not the only one who knows a thing or two about gravity.
Trouble steps inside Gravity's room.
Gravity doesn't just make us fall. It grounds us. It keeps everything in orbit, safely in place. Gravity.
Stepping closer.
It created the stars and the planets. Gravity.
Stepping closer.
It's the force that holds us together.
They are within reach. They are a world apart. Lights out on Trouble and Gravity. Lights up on Moxie. She hits play on her cell phone.
Hey, baby, I'm missing you so much, especially with the holidays just around the corner. Remember that Christmas on Holly Avenue, our just barely 500 square foot apartment? I started crying, wishing I could afford a present for my little girl, but you gave me the biggest hug and said, I've got my mama. That's the best present in the whole wide world. Those memories of you, of us, they keep me going. I was wondering if maybe you'd like to visit. It doesn't have to be Christmas Day or anything. Visiting hours are...
Moxie hangs up. Lights out. Scene 10. Lights up on Gravity, staring at another unopened Yale letter. She starts to open it, then stops. Lights up on Moxie.
Yo, Grav, that black hole finally get ya?
Gravity's screen name doesn't appear in the room icon.
Treb's beside himself thinking he offended you. Of course, he won't say why. You two and your secrets. So, you okay?
Gravity sits on her bed, rocks back and forth.
This is me. Not going anywhere. I'll keep sending messages. All night if I have to. I promise, Treb. That boy has caught the love bug, and he's caught it bad. I almost feel sorry for him. Almost. Do you know his house has 3 whole bathrooms? Not 2, not 2.5, 3! Meanwhile, I'm over here praying to a single porcelain god along with my entire household, all 5 of us. And my auntie has IBS, so...
On screen, Gravity 314 has entered the room.
It's not Trouble. Sorry I missed another meeting, but it has nothing to do with Trouble. Tell him that, please.
Let me guess. It has to do with a certain 4-letter university.
Gravity picks up the letter and stares at it again.
You're doing that thing you do when you push people away. Please don't push me away, Grav. Not now.
I need some time to process.
If you'd only let me into your world for 5 seconds, if you told me what...
I threw up, okay? I threw up. Now you know. Now you're inside my twisted, screwed up world. Are you happy?
When you say you threw up, do you mean before the interview or...
During. I threw up during the interview. After the 3rd question, my stomach wrenched. I stood up to excuse myself, but I didn't get a chance. Right there, on the interviewer's desk, a clump of puke. It got on his tie. I apologized and rushed out of the room. Spent the next 45 minutes in the bathroom. I was too embarrassed to go back in, so I left. I just left.
Jesus. I'm sorry. And this whole time you've been keeping this to yourself?
I suppose I didn't want trouble to find out. Didn't want him knowing that I'm... It doesn't matter. Not anymore, anyway. I shouldn't have gone to that interview.
You couldn't know that this would happen.
I could, and I did. Then I went and messed it all up anyway.
Gravity starts to spiral, struggles to breathe.
Gravity, listen to me. This is not your fault.
You're right. It's not my fault. It's yours.
That's not fair.
I'm not like you. I can't just pretend I'm not sick anymore. I don't have that luxury.
You weren't pretending. You were trying.
But I told you. I couldn't handle it.
You really would have been okay not doing the interview? I don't believe that. Not for 1 second. Besides, we don't even know the end result. We don't even know...
I got a letter. Today. Haven't opened it yet. Don't have to. It's a thin, regular envelope, not the big manila kind they send when you're admitted.
You don't know for sure. Not until...
Gravity abruptly opens the letter and reads from it.
We regret to inform you that we cannot offer you a place in next year's incoming class.
Gravity holds onto her chair to steady herself.
It feels like the end of the world.
Then we'll build a new one. There are other schools. There's still time to apply.
No. Just no.
Why? Because Yale's the best?
Because I need to live at home, okay? My psychiatrist, my parents, everyone agrees. I need support. It's the only way.
Maybe you could take a bunch of core requirements at a nearby community college and then transfer to Yale next year. Or you could take a gap year. In fact, I bet this could work out even better for you. You'll have a year to learn and grow, so that way...
Will you please just stop, okay? Just stop.
Stop what?
You know what?
Looking on the bright side? I'm sorry, but I won't let you drag me into the gloom and doom of...
There's looking on the bright side, and then there's toxic positivity. There's a difference.
Toxic? I am not toxic.
You won't let me, you or anyone for that matter, feel bad feelings. If we push them down, they'll rise back up even stronger and...
Newsflash, silver linings are my lifeboat in this shitstorm.
But maybe what you're really doing is avoiding the clouds.
My whole life has been nothing but one goddamn cloud after another. A whole frickin' parade of them. And the biggest, darkest one has been hovering right here, directly overhead. My entire life. So don't talk to me about clouds.
You say a lot of words, a lot. But when it comes to talking about something real, something that actually matters...
That's not true.
You shut us out.
I, my friend, am an open book.
Oh, yeah? Your mother. What about your mother?
You've never seen my dark place, Grav. Trust me, you do not want to.
If I can't do a single college interview, then I won't be able to do any of it. Not the classes, not the exams. I...
Don't go into the swamp, Grav. The deeper you get, the harder it is to get out.
I'm not going to Yale. I'm not going anywhere. And then there's trouble. I need some space.
Sure, I get it. Let's talk tomorrow, after our meeting, okay?
I won't be at the meeting.
Per Polar Bear Society bylaws, all members must attend daily.
Then count me out.
You don't mean that. You can't.
I don't want to be in your stupid little club anymore. And please don't contact me.
Don't do this, Grav. Don't.
Sometimes there are no happily ever afters. Not for us anyway. And pretending like there will be only makes it hurt more.
Gravity hesitates, then slams her laptop shut. Lights out on Gravity. On screen, Gravity 314 has signed off.
Gravity!
Moxie waits. Finally, she sinks onto her bed.
Come back. Please. Please come back.
Lights out. End of Act 1. Act 2. Scene 11. Lights up on Treble. He's playing the song Better Plan on the piano. Treble's version is stripped down and melancholy. The performance is intended to convey that he wrote the song about gravity.
Yes, you have given. Yes, you have taken. Much less than you deserve. Oh, you have risen to the occasion, though you can't see it still.
Lights up on Gravity. Her room is uncharacteristically messy. She's sitting on the edge of her bed, head in her hands.
What will you do now? What will you have us believe while we lay bare? There are seasons we haven't faced yet. We are hungry lovers. I won't let you stand in your own way, girl. 'Cause I'm your friend. I'll help you let go of the dreams you had and rebuild us a better plan. A better plan.
Lights up on Moxie on her computer.
Time to get up, Grav! I won't let you push us away.
Gravity doesn't respond. Moxie bursts into Gravity's room and grabs hold of her.
I won't let that black hole get you!
Gravity pulls away. Instrumental music continues while Treble enters Gravity's room. Treble reads an email.
Dear Gravity, I'm not sure what happened, but I want you to know that I'm here whenever, however you're ready. I'm not going anywhere.
Gravity walks away and bangs 2 fists on the wall. Moxie takes one of Gravity's hands, turns her around.
Moxie's method, rule number 5. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. I won't let you give up. Polar Bear Society needs you.
Gravity leans against the wall. Exhausted and overcome with emotion, she can barely stay upright.
Dear Gravity, it's been almost 2 weeks. You don't have to come back to group, but please, drop us a line and let us know you're okay.
Gravity! Gravity!
Gravity grabs Moxie and Treble and pulls them toward the door.
Don't do this, Grav! Don't!
Gravity pushes Moxie out the door. She's about to push Treble out when she hesitates.
Gravity, please. I care about you.
For a moment, it appears as if Gravity will embrace Treble. Instead, she pushes him out of the room too and then slams the door shut. On the verge of tears, Gravity leans against the door and sinks to the floor. Treble returns to the piano and sings.
I won't let you stand in your own way, girl, 'cause I'm your friend. I'm your friend. I'll help you let go of the dreams you had and rebuild us a better plan. A better plan.
Gravity gets into bed and pulls the covers up over her head. Lights out on Gravity. Now alone on stage, Treble concludes the song with a piano interlude. Lights out. Scene 12. Lights up on Moxie and Treble. Moxie is uncharacteristically still. She sits on the floor, cradling her legs. Treble paces.
14 emails in 14 days and not...
A single word from her? Yeah, I know.
So, what now?
Maybe we stop.
You mean like we give up on her?
It wouldn't be giving up, it'd be giving her the space she asked for. If and when she's ready, she'll get back in touch.
I'd expect this sort of talk from Gravity, but you? I expected you to knock on every door in New Haven until we found her.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm coming to my senses.
This isn't you. This... what's going on? What?
This is all my fault, that's what. She told me that she couldn't handle the interview, and
What was the alternative? She wastes the opportunity of a lifetime because she's too afraid to answer some questions. Sooner or later, she had to face this. She has too much to offer. Gravity deserves Yale.
yeah, well, a lot of people deserve a lot of things they'll never get. I act like I know what I'm doing, like I have it all figured out, when the truth is I have no idea.
You were being a good friend. You are a good friend to me and especially to Gravity.
This is not how it was supposed to go, you know? I had it all planned out.
Gravity getting into Yale?
That, and you and Gravity, you were supposed to fall madly in love. Preferably after an off-key karaoke duet, a thrilling chase scene, and a passionate kiss on Christmas Day. I'd be her maid of honor on your wedding day, obviously.
That's
Exactly what you always dreamed of.
specific. I was gonna say specific.
Instead, it's all turning into one of those horrid drama movies where the entire audience is reaching for a box of tissues. Don't get me wrong, dramas win awards and everything, but nobody actually enjoys them, and nobody wants to live one, that's for damn sure. You and Gravity are supposed to get your HEA, your happily ever after. Now you've been torn apart by evil forces, and not only did I allow this to happen, I played a big part in it.
Gravity will come back. I know she will.
And what? We're just supposed to be here waiting like some pathetic toy that she can put down and pick back up whenever she feels like it? I don't think so.
You're angry?
Heck yeah, I am. My best friend in the entire universe decided to go and drop off the planet without even so much as a single message to let me know she's okay, to let me know she's not. I mean, 20%
I thought you said no statistics.
Yeah, because they're already tattooed on my brain. You don't just disappear when stats like 20% are in the mix.
I don't think she'd ever do that.
Maybe it's like she said. Maybe there are no happily ever afters.
Come on, Mox. You don't honestly believe that.
This time I do. I actually do.
From day one, you've been telling me to look for the silver lining, that tomorrow will be a better day, and you know what? I needed to hear that.
Gravity doesn't care about me. She only cares about herself. Just like
what?
nothing. Forget it.
Just like your mother?
Excuse me?
I know about her. Gravity, she told me
She wasn't supposed to tell anyone, especially not.
it was to protect you. That day you got really mad at me for saying the S word.
That still doesn't give her any right.
You never talk about it.
Let some things out in the sun and they'll devour all the light.
This whole time, you've been the strong one, giving pep talks, helping us find our way, and I didn't see it.
Will you stop with the psychoanalytical bullshit? The only thing this has to do with is Gravity being a selfish a-hole.
Moxie, it's okay to not be okay sometimes.
Oh, I am okay. I am better than okay. I'm great.
But have you... Maybe being upset with Gravity has more to do with your mom than...
You want to talk about my mother? Fine. Let's talk about my mother. 5 is the number of birthdays she forgot. 4 is the number of times that I had to call 911 worried sick about her. 3 is the number of months she's been in the Institute of Living. 2, the number of times she walked out on me. And 1 for when I found her OD'd on the kitchen floor. I was 9.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Like I said.
Have you been able to see her?
See her? After all that, why would I want to see her?
She's your mom.
In biology only. She cursed me with her defective genes and then checked out. And besides, even if I did want to, you think I want to go there, to that place? I will not take foot inside of that building.
Because you're worried that someday you won't just be there as a visitor. You'll be there as...
Shut up! Okay, just shut up! You wanted to talk about her, I talked. I dragged all that shit up into the daylight. It's excavated. It's done. The point is, people, They use you when it's convenient for them, and then they toss you aside. She did it. Now Gravity's doing it. Well, newsflash, I don't need her. I don't need anybody.
Grabbing notebook and writing.
Moxie's method, rule number 30. When somebody throws you out like yesterday's garbage, you don't sit around and wait. You leave them back.
Moxie walks out of her room. On screen, Moxie is freaking awesome! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, has left the room. Lights out. Scene 13. Lights up on Treble. On screen, Treble 2004 has entered the room. No one else is online.
In today's Polar Bear news, Polar Bear Society is now the Polar Bear 1. It's been 17 days since Gravity 314 last signed on, and 3 days since Moxie is freaking awesome jumped ship, leaving me, the sole member, by my lonesome, pathetic self. So how about happy hour, Polar Bears? Who am I kidding? This is Treble 2004, signing off.
Treble is about to exit when on screen, Gravity 314 has entered the room. Shocked, Treble leans into his device. Lights up on Gravity. Her bedroom is cluttered, but the bed is made.
Present! I'm present.
Overcome with emotion, Treble doesn't respond. He's overjoyed, but also still hurt.
Is anybody here?
Keep it together. Yeah, hello, Gravity.
Hi. Please don't hate me. Listen, I'm sorry for being MIA.
It's okay.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we were worried. I was worried, but glad. I'm glad to see you.
Trouble. Thank you.
So, are you okay?
I'm not great, but at least I'm better than before. I kind of sank, you know?
Yeah.
I guess it was a big wake-up call that... Wait, where's Moxie? It's just about happy hour time, right? What's wrong? Trouble? What is it?
Moxie, she dissolved the group
Dissolved as in she ended it?
3 days ago. I've been signing on since, hoping one of you would turn up.
I can't believe she'd really end Polar Bear Society because of me.
I think it sort of triggered her, you know, the stuff with...
Her mom? Of course. I was so caught up in my own issues. I didn't even think about... Jesus. How could I act like that? So she hasn't been at meetings? Have you heard from her at least?
We sort of, had a falling out.
Again, because of me, I'm sure.
No, actually not because of you. Because of me. I pressed her to talk about how she's always putting on a good show, a happy face, about her mom.
And let me guess, she didn't appreciate that?
No, she didn't. I sent her a bunch of emails just like,
Like you were writing me? I'm so sorry I didn't write back. Really, I am. I know it's no excuse, but I was in a really dark place, and I'll message her.
Gravity quickly types on her device.
I'm not sure you know this, but you're her closest friend. She told me.
She's not responding. I knew she'd be upset, but Moxie lives, eats, and breathes Polar Bear Society.
I thought maybe it was really over, but now you're here and I missed you, Gravity.
I missed you too.
Are we okay? I'm sorry, I was pressuring you into meeting in person. I understand if you never, or that is, if we never...
Trouble? We're okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. But...
Moxie? Yeah, I know. But if she won't write back, with her all the way across the country?
Treble looks around his room as if searching for an answer. Finally, his eyes settle on his guitar. He picks up the instrument.
I have an idea.
Lights out. Scene 14. Moxie is watching Jerry Maguire in her bedroom. It's the famous "You had me at hello" scene. A secondhand faux Christmas tree is lit in the corner. A knock.
For the millionth frickin' time, frickin' Christmas is frickin' canceled!
Knock, knock, knock. Moxie goes to her door.
I said Christmas is...
Opening the door, it's Gravity holding a brown paper bag.
Hi, Mox. It's...
Struggling to catch her breath, Gravity can't get the words out. Shocked, Moxie backs away.
I know that voice. Gravity? Is this some sort of a sick twist on A Christmas Carol? The ghost of virtual support groups past is coming to haunt me?
I...
Holy Moses, you're about to have the panic attack, aren't you?
At least I'm on brand.
You can say that, all right. Get in here and sit down.
Moxie pulls Gravity inside and guides her into a chair. Moxie takes the bag from Gravity.
Head between your knees.
Gravity does as she's told. Moxie removes a container of Cherry Garcia from the bag.
Oh, yum, you really do.
Moxie hands the empty bag to Gravity.
Right here, you know the drill.
Gravity puts the bag to her mouth.
Good girl. One more.
Relaxing, Gravity exhales. The panic attack has subsided.
Better?
Yeah, thanks.
Gravity. IRL. I cannot wrap my brain around this. You're taller than I expected.
Hot pink hair.
Let me guess, you hate it, right?
I love it. And you really could pass for 32.
Moxie grabs the ice cream.
Cherry Garcia, huh?
It is by far the best ice cream flavor on the face of this earth.
How'd you find me?
The CD place next to the taco truck on El Camino Real.
Oh, shiznit. I literally gave you my address, didn't I?
Treble's first meeting.
Well, I suppose this is what I get for willingly handing out personal information over the internet. You'd think I would have learned after the Hot Roderick 69 incident.
Hot Roderick 69? Is that?
One of my virtual boyfriends.
One of? As in, there are more?
A long story for another day.
Reaching out and pinching Gravity.
Gravity. In the flesh and blood. Feels like I'm tripping on acid.
It is a bit surreal.
How'd you even get here? You get motion sick on planes, right?
I didn't fly. I drove. Well, technically my mom drove. In fact, both of my parents are sitting in your driveway as we speak, prepared to call 911 if this goes south.
What?
Moxie looks out the window. A car horn honks.
Yoo-hoo! Hi, Moxie!
Moxie waves and shouts out the window.
Hi, Miss Gravity. I don't know your last name. Come to think of it, I don't even know your first name.
Gravity is about to answer when 3 more car honks.
Oh my god, she is so embarrassing.
You dragged them all the way across the country for this?
Truth is, they dragged me. My mom was like, "We have to fix this. Moxie is your only friend in the whole wide world." As if I didn't know that already.
Aw, I'm flattered.
We're stopping at 7 national parks on the way home.
Let me guess, also not your idea?
I may love space, but I'm really more of an indoor human.
I'm mad at you, you know.
That's why I had to come, to apologize, in person, for disappearing. For all those horrible things I said. I was upset with myself, really, not you.
We were scared sick.
Gravity looks away. Her eyes search the room and finally settle on Moxie's Polar Bear Society poster, which is leaning against the wall. Gravity goes over to it, wistfully runs her finger along the photos.
You won't really dissolve Polar Bear Society, will you?
I already have. You could always start the group back up again without me.
Not possible.
Moxie crosses her arms.
find that hard to believe.
How can I explain this?
Gravity notices an empty soda can tower. She goes over to it and reaches for a can.
May I?
It's a free country.
Gravity grabs 2 empty soda cans.
Making yourself an ice cream float.
It's for demonstrational purposes, obviously. Imagine this is the solar system, okay?
Holding up the 2 soda cans.
These are the planets. They're me and Treble.
She sets the sodas on the desk around the ice cream pint.
And the Cherry Garcia? That's you, Mox. You're the sun.
Full of hot air and a whole lot of gas.
In our solar system, you're the star around which the rest of us orbit. Your energy, it nourishes us, sustains us, keeps us alive. There is no polar bear society without you, Mox. Not now, not ever. Without you.
Shut up. Just shut up. You had me at Cherry Garcia. I'm sorry, too, for not listening, for pushing you into the interview.
Truth is, I'm glad you did. I'm not ready for college.
But you have to go.
Yet. I'm not ready yet. I talked to Yale's admissions office. I can reapply next year, at which point I'll have a new interview.
You'll get a fresh start.
Yes.
Woohoo! And a whole year to prepare. We should get started. First things first, I'm sure you'll know what's best.
My mom found a fancy cognitive behavioral treatment facility in Greenwich, which I don't know how, but she convinced them to take me. Pro bono.
How fancy we talking here? Fancy as in there's a good chance you'll be rooming with Ye or Demi? Aw, come here, you!
Moxie pulls Gravity in for a bear hug. Gravity resists.
I'm not really a hugger.
Well, lucky for you, I am.
Moxie hugs Gravity. It's a long, firm squeeze. A few seconds in, the song All I Want for Christmas Is You starts to play out of nowhere. Outside the window, Treble holds a boombox over his head.
Ah! Treb? That is Trouble, right? Had to make sure. Bit of a dicey neighborhood, and just like the movie, you guys, this is freaking emotional. But also, did you make him wait outside this whole time?
He flew in separately, and we agreed to meet here. Should we let him in?
Moxie opens the window.
Oh, right. Get in here, Treb!
Treble climbs in through the window.
It's a grand romantic gesture.
Heck yeah, it is. Speaking of romance, time for true love's first kiss.
Treble anxiously glances at Gravity, but then Moxie grabs Treble as if she's about to kiss him,
Come to mama!
letting him go.
Oh, easy, Treb. I'm just messing with you.
Oh, right, I knew that.
Yeah, you see the look on his face?
Moxie takes both of their hands.
You two have gifted me with the best HEA I could have ever asked for. And on Christmas Eve, no less. Ooh, speaking of holidays, don't move.
Moxie exits. Treble and Gravity turn to face one another for the first time. It's the moment they've been waiting for, and now that it's here, they have no idea what to do.
Hey.
Hey.
They nearly hug, but then nerves kick in and they stop a few feet apart. The tension is palpable. Treble doesn't know what to do with his hands. He tries his pockets and a few other things. Nervous ticks from Gravity. Then Treble lifts his hand for a high five.
High five?
They both stare at Treble's hand. Gravity finally goes to slap it just as Treble lowers it. The result is a half slap. Treble shakes his head at himself. Interacting in real life is so much harder than interacting online, especially when it's with your crush.
Yeah, that was cool.
What did you...
Oh, I said it's surprisingly cool weather for California, I mean.
It is. I'm glad I packed a warm jacket.
They both desperately look to the door, eager for Moxie to return.
She is gonna come back, right?
Maybe she's getting some eggnog?
Say something.
Okay, it's you.
Treble spins around.
How do I look? Does real life add 10 pounds?
Gravity steps closer.
You're perfect.
Treble steps closer.
You too.
They're getting even closer just as Moxie rushes back in. Gravity and Treble quickly step apart. Moxie hands out wrapped presents.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry freaking Christmas!
But you didn't even know we were coming.
I was going to coerce you into giving me your addresses and shipping them to you, before the epic fallout, of course. Go on, open them!
Treble and Gravity glance at one another, open the presents, and hold them up. They're white hoodie sweatshirts decorated to look like polar bears. The initials PBS are on the front.
PBS? As in the TV station?
Moxie playfully slaps Treble.
No numbnuts, as in Polar Bear Society. I DIY'd it myself. Supposed to be a polar bear. See?
Motioning to the sweatshirt.
There's the face, the ears, and didn't your mother ever tell you it's incredibly rude not to put on a Christmas gift immediately? Let's see 'em!
Gravity and Treble begrudgingly put on their gifts. Moxie pulls out her own matching sweatshirt and puts it on too.
Kapow! Oh, and don't forget the gloves!
They put on matching DIY polar bear gloves.
Meow.
Moxie pulls Gravity's hoodie up. Treble pulls his own hoodie up. Moxie positions her hands like claws.
Hear ye, hear ye. Let the 156th Polar Bear Society meeting commence. All those who are present will please say present.
Present.
Moxie eyes Gravity. Treble elbows Gravity.
Here. Obviously, I'm here.
Check that toot at the door, Grav. It's happy hour time. Polar bears, get your cocktails ready.
Moxie turns on music, living on a prayer, while they get their meds.
Cheers!
Moxie takes 2 pills. Gravity takes 3. They both turn to Treble. He takes his pill. Moxie turns the music down.
In today's Polar Bear news, Gravity survived her first ever cross-country road trip. Not only that, she and Treb pulled off the grandest romantic gesture in history and saved the day.
Moxie grabs the ice cream.
Now, let's dig in, shall we?
Moxie tosses pillows on the floor. They sit beside one another. Moxie opens the ice cream and takes a bite.
God, that is good. I still can't believe it. Gravity and Trouble, right here in San Jose.
Gravity and Treble both get a spoonful.
I'm sorry too, by the way, about prying into your business when...
Though I seldom admit it, you were right. I do need to talk about her. In fact, I've been thinking about going to see her.
Even just considering that, it's a big step.
What if she is my future?
Oh, Mox. Can't know that.
Yeah, I know.
It's like what you said on my first day. You are not your mother. You are you.
Gravity awkwardly reaches for Moxie's hand.
The thing is, I'm afraid. Oh, God. I'm so afraid.
Gravity wraps her arms around Moxie. Treble wraps his arms around them too. The 3 friends are a swaying huddle of pain and fear, strength and hope. Lights out. Scene 15. Lights up on Gravity and Treble. They're sitting on a bench in front of a medical facility, stage right. They are comfortable and at ease with one another now, even in real life. A suitcase is beside Gravity. Treble stares at an unopened letter.
Are you going to open it, or aren't you?
Handing the letter to Gravity.
Here.
Are you sure?
Do it fast before I change my mind.
Gravity waits, then opens the letter.
Oh my God.
Is that a good, oh my God, or is it...
You're in!
What?
Gravity reading the letter.
Congratulations. We are pleased to admit you to the Juilliard School of Music. See for yourself.
Gravity hands Treble the letter. He quickly reads it.
I didn't actually ever think I'd...
Treble picks up Gravity and spins around in excitement. He sets her down and frowns.
Sorry. Is this sort of weird for you, celebrating my admissions letter when you...
This is your time. You deserve it.
I never would have applied if it wasn't for you.
I do have some exceptional ideas from time to time.
They're not the only exceptional thing about you.
Is that so?
Treble whispers something inaudible in Gravity's ear, then leans in to kiss her for the 100th time. Their lips are just about to touch when chime. Gravity pulls out her cell phone and looks at it.
It's...
Moxie FaceTime? Yeah.
Gravity accepts the FaceTime request, lights up stage left. Holding a flower bouquet, Moxie is on a moving bus.
Yo, yo, yo! What's the verdict?
Well...
He got in!
Congratulations! Promise you'll bring me to the Grammys?
You know the best part?
None of this would have ever happened had you not fallen down the psychiatric rabbit hole.
I was gonna say that I'll only be an hour train ride from Gravity.
Oh, yeah, NYC. And FYI, I'll totally be moving there after I publish a Moxie's Method. We can be roomies. Also, I'll obvious do all the wedding planning for you two lovebirds. I'm thinking Central Park, summer, sunset. Me, your maid of honor in a hot pink dress, and...
Mox.
Fine, you can pick your own wedding colors, so long as it's not black. I can totally see.
Next stop, Alameda.
Hang on, tunnel.
Lights flicker on Moxie. Lights stop flickering.
So, you're about to take the plunge, huh, Grav?
It appears so. You on your way too?
Heck yes. We had an agreement. It was nice of you to drop her off, Trev.
I do what I can.
But let me get this straight. This place really doesn't allow any devices whatsoever.
Not even a Kindle.
Ooh, I admire your courage, but F-U-C-K, I would rather live without my right lung.
There won't be any time for that anyway. The schedule's pretty intense.
Must be one of those A-list treatment facilities, huh? Mud baths, Bikram yoga, all-you-can-eat lobster buffet.
I'm not so sure about the lobster, but yeah, my mom pulled some serious strings.
Ooh, somebody famous is bound to be there. I'm really hoping for...
Britney Spears?
Yeah, how'd you know? Whatever happens, get me an autograph. And none of that anonymous bullcrap. Sign it to my best friend, Moxie. Capiche?
The sound of the bus's screeching tires.
Next stop, Nagley Station.
The sound of the bus starting up again. Moxie checks her route.
3 more stops.
How are you holding up?
My stomach is flopping around like Michael Flatley in Lord of the Dance, and though I'm usually afflicted with verbal diarrhea in tense moments, I'm currently feeling linguistically constipated.
You'll be there. That's what matters.
Treble checks his cell phone.
It's almost time.
Okay. Knock 'em dead, Grav. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Treb, there's a newbie stopping by the PBS meeting tonight. I may be running late depending on how long this goes. Do you think you can handle getting the meeting started?
Yes.
Good luck, Mox.
Back at you, girl. And for the love of all things holy, get me an autograph, a lock of hair, an old sock, heck, even a used tissue or...
Gravity presses a cell phone button. Lights out on Moxie.
Did you just...
Disconnect her? Yeah, before she got to dirty underwear.
They share a happy smile, and then a sad smile, filled with anxiety. Gravity turns and stares at the medical facility.
I don't want to.
I know. Hey. I love you.
Hey, I love you too.
They share a short, sweet kiss. Then they lean into one another, forehead to forehead. Lights dim. Lights come back up on Moxie. She's standing at a receptionist desk.
ID, please.
Moxie hands an offstage clerk her ID.
Leave your bag here.
Moxie removes her bag and sets it on the desk.
Straight ahead.
Clutching the flower bouquet, Moxie turns and looks downstage. A mixture of emotions. Hope, excitement, sadness, fear. Finally, Moxie steps forward. As she does, she is bathed in light. She stops and takes a deep breath.
Hi, Mom. I'm here.
Moxie freezes. Lights upstage right, Gravity stands alone at a different receptionist desk.
How can I help you?
Isabella Winters, checking in.
Holding still, Gravity is bathed in light. lights up center stage on treble, standing tall. He proudly walks downstage and addresses the audience.
Hear ye, hear ye. Let the 230th Polar Bear meeting commence.
Lights out, end of play. Hello, I'm Bethany Wood. I'm the dramaturg for this play, and I think a microphone is coming to me in a second for our online audience. Before we start the questions that our playwright has asked that we ask the audience after the reading, everyone is going to introduce themselves. So we'll start with Maru.
I am Maru Garcia, and I am helping as director here.
Hi, my name is Aaliyah, and AJ. I played Gravity, and I am a CU Boulder graduate in dance.
I'm Harrison. I played treble, and I just finished my junior year at Denver School of the Arts.
Hi, my name is Kala Haran. I played Moxie. I'm a local Denver actor. I'm currently doing a show with Madhu.
Hi, I'm Bethany. I was the literary manager for this year of PIP, and it's so exciting for me to have started this project over a year ago and to finally see these plays being read out loud. So I'm very excited to hear feedback. So Connie, did you want me to?
Do you want to introduce Megan?
Megan.
She's just joined us as well.
Oh, wonderful. This is Megan. See, I didn't see the screen at all this whole time. This is Megan McGarry, the playwright. Can she talk to us?
I believe we can hear you.
Do you want to introduce yourself, Megan?
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Megan McGarry, the playwright. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Great.
Thanks, everyone, for that wonderful reading.
So at Athena Project with Plays in Progress, we start with something called popcorning. So if you could just give me in one or two words, what feeling did this play leave you with? Intriguing. There's no right or wrong, just what emotion did you feel
Hopeful.
when we got to that last moment?
Hopeful.
Hopeful?
I don't have an emotion, but it was just a memory. It was just purely a memory for me.
A memory.
Heartwarmed.
Heartwarmed. I love that.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
I feel that.
I've seen some plays,
It's tremendous reading. So wonderful. One of the first questions that the playwright and I met a while ago, we had a public discussion about the play, but this is the first time we've had a public reading. And some of the questions that Megan and I talked about as far as wanting feedback, one of those was, tell us about a place in the plot that left you wanting more. Where was there a place where you wanted to hear a little bit more or know a little bit more?
I think one place for me where I felt like I wanted a little bit more is like we had moments where we were listening. Sure, sorry. Yeah, there were moments where we were hearing like these interactions with Moxie and our mom, which I thought were super interesting, but I don't recall having those like exact same interactions with like Gravity or Trouble, like in those kinds of contexts where I know Moxie's is a little bit more unique because it's geared toward like her trauma is around her mom, but like maybe if we heard a little bit more from the interviewer that Gravity spoke with, like a little bit more, I think that would have satisfied that a little bit more for me.
Any other places that left you wanting to know a little bit more or hear a little bit more?
I might have just missed it, but I think we got Gravity's real name and Trouble's real name, but not Moxie's, and I want to know Moxie's name. Maybe it's Moxie.
Any other places where you wanted to hear a little bit more or learn a little bit more? And if you think of one later, that's totally fine. I'm going to move on. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I think I wanted to know more about Gravity's family, because it was great when they appeared at the end and certainly seemed supportive, and I wanted to know more about them.
Were there any places that left you confused? Any places where you were like, oh, I'm not sure how that quite happened, or I'm not sure why this is happening? I see a shaking head, so we'll take that response. Everything was clear. Perfect. Could you think about or point to a place in the play where you found yourself drawn into the action? Where you were like, oh, I really am drawn into the story right now? Or conversely, were there any places in the play where you found your mind drifting, maybe it didn't pull you in as much? So something that really drew you in, moments where you were really pulled into the emotion or the story, or moments where maybe it wasn't quite drawing your attention.
So I theoretically am the light designer for this event, and so I read the script beforehand, and I was light designing in my brain, which doesn't always happen with every script, and it like is really meaningful when it happens for me. It's like, yes, this is clicking, this is working. I was watching the movement I was like wanting to have fights with the scenic designer because I knew that we were going to disagree about what was going to be happening, but so I don't have a specific thing for you about what drew me in, but it worked. And from a technical perspective, I wanted to tell the story and was really drawn into the collaborative story making just from the script, not to mention the reading.
As we're thinking, yeah, Connie, a moment.
One question, yeah.
Yeah.
And the microphone just for our live stream folks, it's not for the room. But,
It doesn't amplify.
one of the moments that's still resonating for me is actually the slow dance. There was this level of closeness that is not captured when we're on Zoom and on our two-dimensional worlds that we've all survived and still surviving now because of Megan's presence, virtually in our hybrid world. But I love the stage reading of, they were like 1 feet away and yet on opposite coasts or some distance. And I got that sense of closeness, and yet they were in 2 different places. And that really resonates for me as they were building their own relationship and a level of intimacy that, in a 3-character play, we were looking for. I mean, with the level of intimacy, just even within being members of the Polar Bear Society. So, but that really stuck out for me. And the music, I wanted to hear the music. I wanted to hear what Trevor, right? Trebles. I wanted to hear the soundscape of treble, which is hard to accomplish in a reading and stuff. But the music is something that I was missing today. It was in my head. Thanks.
May I
Yeah.
answer the question? I feel like I can speak in that.
Okay.
I would love to see this play staged because I love those sort of surrealist moments where all of a sudden, even though they're separated, they come into physical contact, like when they're entering each other's rooms kind of in make-believe. I feel like that would be so beautiful to watch that played out. My favorite line of the play is when Treble is kind of repeating what gravity is, that gravity grounds you, and trying to reassure her. I just thought that was so poetic and so beautiful, and it's written that he's getting closer and closer to her, but it's not really happening. I would just love to see that played out. It would be so beautiful.
I love that, what you brought up. I'm going to put it there. But another question that I have is, as we're talking about this, how did you visualize this happening on stage, right? Because there are so many moments that these characters are interacting, but there's the technology. So what were you picturing in your head? So we'll hear here, and then I'll run over there.
Okay, this might ruin it for some people. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I should have been a production designer in a different life. It was 100% some sort of cross between Dear Evan Hansen and Stranger Things, but with like the fantasy level of She Kills Monsters. That's exactly what I saw this entire time, and it was the most beautiful thing in my head. It was awesome, and I hope I can like make it come to life one day. It was really cool.
What were some of the beautiful images that just kind of stand out to you?
Oh, I'm gonna talk in numbers too, but I was thinking like this huge, like, 30 by 20 foot like projection screen, but they're all different size, like TV screens, and so we're constantly popping back and forth from emojis and like old school emoticons and like the different names and pieces like that, but the stage is almost set up in like 3 kind of linear tracks, and that's where we're jumping from one person to the next and have this beautiful bridge with like these really cool projections and lighting moments and movements, and yeah, that's kind of like what I was envisioning in my brain.
Yeah.
See, I figured like I would have almost like a spoke with a center with 2 offsets, and then with sheer walls that can be moved quickly.
Mm.
So what you get is a silhouette image as well as you have the full screen on the back as a backdrop. And it's literally just showing what every single one of them is thinking when they're answering in a chat box. But the silhouettes that you would get based on lighting would give you an impression of the presence, but not right there until it was necessary. And then they would actually have the moment when they're together in person, and that makes it a little more intimate.
So Athena Project actually did a full stage play of a production that involved a woman who was a reporter in Pakistan and would both Skype and chat with someone who was back in New York. And they projected it. The texts were preset, but they had real-time live Skype calls that were projected on the screens in the middle of the show. It started out as a play in progress, and so I saw how, you'd have to imagine it. When you actually saw it on the screen with these multiple screens, with the chats going up and in the real-time Skype, it was really something, and it felt like a much more, it went beyond just a regular play. It managed to make it feel really interesting and interactive. And so just the way it was written, I think you could do that on the screen and make it work. And I think that it would be unique enough that it would really draw people in.
I'm 100% convinced that this show is done in the round with 3 different like platforms that are each of the rooms that the 3 characters will light up their section or drop out of their section, and that they always stay in their section, and that like even unlit they might be like reading a book or lying on their bed or texting somebody or doing something else, but are still present in our world even if we're paying attention and lit on the other 2, and then that we can move off of the platform and into the like ethereal space between the platforms when they are crossing the world to see, or crossing the country to see each other. And I keep fighting with myself about the screens and what I envision, but I also was thinking, like, let's actually have live Zoom calls going. Like, these people actually, like, turn on their camera, and that projects up, and we can, like, the people who are behind them can see it on their computer screen and on the screen. And I don't know, now I'm just getting technical, but, and just to rewind a little bit to Moxie actor, what is your name?
My name's Kala.
Hi, Kala. Nice to meet you. I'm Cade. To what Kala said, part of what I loved so much in reading the script was that I could really sit in the pregnant pauses, and that was really hard in a seated table reading. That I would, like you said, love to see it staged, where there's more action that can be read into those pauses, which would be a huge part of the staging for me. That would make a big difference.
So
I just want to add on that in views, like seeing this as a play with the projection screen in the background and being able to see the messages, that would actually be really fantastic for people like me who need subtitles, and seeing live shows is a little difficult for me to process audio sometimes, so just wanted to add that in there.
That's a really good point. Yeah, Maru.
So it's listening to everyone. This is very interesting. This is one of the plays. So I was one of the readers that read like a lot of plays, and we chose specifically these four. And one of the things that came up with this play is that all of us had a different vision of how to do it on stage. All of us were like, yes, but these are the problems, and everyone is like, no, these are not the problems. So the same visions that you all have, we already discussed it. Like, so this is one of the plays that actually opens up the creativity enough to create whatever you want with it. So however you portray it, it will be fantastic. And of course, when you're sitting in the audience, you will be like, I wouldn't have done it like that, right? But it's one of the gifts that we have with this play.
And when Maru says she was a reader, she's being a little modest. She was with us through all three phases. So for the PIP process, we have an initial read. We get over 300 plays. Each of those plays is read by one of our readers. Sorry, I misspoke. Each of the plays is read by two readers, at least two readers, and given feedback. And then we take a top tier of those and go to a literary circle of readers, which Mauro also participated in. And then another top tier of that goes to the selection committee. And so there's 3 phases, and those plays are read at least 4 times. Or no, the last one, everyone reads them. So it's multiple readers looking at multiple factors in selecting the plays that we have for PIP. So thank you for all of that. And I know some of you were also involved in that, so thank you. I want to go back just to one question, because this is something that Megan and I have talked about a couple of times. But were there any places where you felt like maybe the pace was a little slow, or you wanted the play to move a little faster, or any places where you wanted it to slow down and you wanted to kind of rest in that moment a little bit more? Running back here with the mic.
So I'm always just transparent. This piece spoke to me like on a very deep personal level. So it's very hard for me to say that an area was slow or an area was fast, primarily because I was just really invested the entire time. And it hit my core so hard that I was really just kind of at the edge of my seat, just following the entire time. So in terms of an audience member perspective, I don't have anything for that.
You don't ever have to divorce your personal perspective from the audience perspective. You are the audience. Anyone else? Okay, so the next question is one that I like to ask with new plays as a dramaturg, and the question is, if this play were a person, how old would it be? Would it be an infant? Would it be a toddler? Would it be a middle school kid that still has a lot to learn? Would it be about ready to leave college and go get a job? Would it have a mortgage and pay taxes? How old would this play be? 18. 17. Teenager? Pardon? 26. 26. I love how specific we're getting. Anyone want to chip in as to why, or just leave it there? That's fine. Yeah, Angela.
I was on for 25, so whatever.
You're going for 25?
I'm going for 25, but I felt like, because, thank you, sorry, because everybody, I know how everybody's cast and age-wise, so I think that makes the youth aspect stick out. But there's a real life quality and a maturity about all of them that put me over teenage years, basically.
And that is real, isn't it?
Very rare. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to say it earlier, but authentic was the word when we were popcorning. Authentic was the word that came out. Felt very real. And nice job, everybody.
Yes.
So I work with kids, middle school and high school exclusively. Hi, Harry, how are you? This definitely resonates with the high school population, especially as a mom as well of the same age group. It's just, there is so much more awareness and openness about how they're discussing mental illness these days. And so it's becoming a part of the high school rhetoric. It is really becoming something that they whether they want to or not, they're forced to deal with it because it's right there. And if they don't have it, somebody they know does. And it's 7 stages from Kevin Bacon in that sense. Everybody knows somebody that has experienced something. And so and I've seen it start with 13-year-olds, but it seems to culminate and truly be concentrated at that high school level, especially as they do get closer to the end of their high school years, and the concept and the prospect of college and that adulthood and that individual, I'm on my own, that just, it feeds that anxiety and it makes it more and more intense. And that's definitely 17, 18, 19, that's where I see this.
So we're talking about the characters, but metaphorically, as a script, would you see this as something that's ready to go out in the world without any revisions? Something that is a toddler and still has a long way to go?
Or yeah, I think it's still old. It has the growth, but I think that it's just like with the college metaphor. Mm-hmm. It's very well rounded. It's well seated as a play, as a piece. Does it have room to evolve and mature? Absolutely. But right now it's at a very solid place where it's going to resonate with an audience regardless. It's got room to grow like everything does. But that will come down to the directors, the actors, and how they perceive and create and connect with those characters. But I definitely still say that this is 17, 18. So.
Thank you.
So, I think the play is ready as it is. So the problem is that, as Sina said, there's always room to grow. So at what point the play is like, okay, this is ready, this is ready, this runs. This is as it is, it can be produced easily. Can we add things? Yes. Can we take things out? Yes. But then it never finishes. The process never finishes. It's always the revision of the revision of the revision. So as it is, I would say that it's mature enough to go on stage.
I think the last play where I worked with got this question, when do you stop revising? And they're like, when it's published and I can't.
And even after I have had authors that come back to me and said, like, by the way, I want to, and I'm like, no. No.
Wonderful. So what about this play left a lasting impact with you, or is something that you found memorable? Something that left a lasting impact or that you found memorable? Yeah.
That they had hope. It's so easy to go for a tragic ending and for it to actually end with somebody being taken out. And every single one of them went through something and they came out of it and the whole equation was there. That's what's memorable about it. It's not taking the normal trope of the tragedy has to end this way. And that's what's memorable, is that there's something to look forward to, and that the characters in the play, again, it's because of where they ended that they can grow. And you can see these kids, you can see their futures, you can see, is it perfect? No. But we can see that they're going forward. That's what's memorable about it as a piece by itself.
And that's so rare with plays about mental illness, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So a moment that was memorable and stood out to me was Treble's manic episode, because I think a lot of people can connect with depression and understand what depression looks like. But the harm and damage that can happen from a manic episode is much harder, I think, for people to really understand, like, oh, this is great. You're so engaged and you're, feeling great and you're doing all of this stuff, but it goes a little too far and it's a little too impulsive and it's a little too much. And that stood out to me as very well presented, as something that audience members may not encounter or connect with as much personally, unless maybe they have bipolar. But that episode really stood out to me as being a very good way of saying that's how this is different, and it's harmful in a different way than just like depression.
Anyone else, a moment or anything that you feel like that's going to stick with me for a while? Yeah.
Sorry. Already feeling so many emotions. This piece highlighted an aspect of my identity that I have never seen on stage before. And that level of validation is astronomical. I have never felt so seen just by getting to watch and read this play. And I'm truly at a loss for words. Like, this is incredible. And there are so many other people who are just like me, they're marginalized in any other capacity, that this will also resonate for. And I am so excited for those people to be able to access this.
Thank you so much. Anyone else, a moment that is going to stick with you?
I would love to just kind of piggyback off of what Zena and what you just said, is that like what sticks out for me is that it is hopeful and it also is illuminating. I think that like a lot of us kids who grew up with these problems did feel really alone, and the reason that they all triumphed in the end was because they had each other to lean on. So I hope that like young people who maybe see this will come out and say, hey, maybe I can reach out, maybe someone can lift me, or maybe someone gets what I'm going through, because I think that was something that a lot of us were missing. And I think that is what is really beautiful here, is the sense of community between the three of them, and that you don't have to go through all of this by yourself, and that you'll be stronger if you lean on the people around you that are going through it with you. I think is really well cohesive.
And speaking to that, I like that they don't like, they're not like part of the community and you're in or you're out, right? They fall out, they come back. Yeah. They have bad days where they're like, I don't want to come today. Yeah. But they're able, there's that permission for them to come back. Anyone else, something that stood out for you that's going to stick with you?
Just going off of what Kala said, with the whole group, I feel like there's a stigma that surrounds being in groups like mental health groups, and this kind of made it feel like it was a little easier, especially because like one person created it and they kept it small, and maybe that was on purpose, maybe it was on accident, but it made it feel easy, it made it feel digestible to go to a group regularly and have those people understand somewhat of what you may be going through. So, yeah.
So this next question is actually not from the playwright. This is a question that a reader had at Read and Rant, and their question was, when is this play set? So when did you think this play took place?
Within the last 5 years.
Within the last 5 years?
I'd say now.
Now?
It's very current.
Pre-COVID? Why do you say pre-COVID?
They met in person.
Nobody was freaked out by meeting in person. I love it. Anyone else? Any other time?
In the 80s.
In the 80s? And talk a little bit about why you say that.
Because all the movies she scene, okay? We don't see most children nowadays be watching these type of movies, the Jerry Maguire, and everything. You do not see them seeing these type of movies. And that's what was fascinating with me it was more like in the 80s.
And the music.
And the music, yeah, the music and stuff I was like, okay, this is like more in the 80s. So, but yeah.
Any other time periods we want to throw out there? Are we happy with those? Okay, great.
I would say mostly now, though. It's just in the beginning when they were explaining Moxie's setup and how she had like an old computer. That made me question, like, oh, are we in the early 2000s right now? And then you hear about Selena Gomez and Demi Lovato, and they were on Barney, so in that time they were little kids. So it's like, oh wait, clearly it's now.
Yeah. Or she's from the past.
Moxie's a time traveler.
That's another thing. Yeah. The next question is just one I had. If you had to identify the climax of the play, what moment would you choose as the climax of the play? Or were there multiple ones that you want to point out? All of it?
Pretty much. So I was a volunteer. I was mentoring. I did mentor a young lady. I had 2 grown sons, but I never had a daughter. So I was like, it was kind of hard for me because I could not identify with young ladies because I had 2 sons, both of my sons, and as a mentor, I had to go take the classes for a youth mental health first aid certification, and I also took it for the adults mental health first aid certification. And one thing that we did a lot of play acting in that class, and I was the only one. Everybody else was psychologists, police officers, and I was just a person who volunteered as a mentor. And pretty much I was picking up, they was like, well, you're kind of like reading this person really well and everything. And I'm like, yeah. So I asked the question what type of home environment that he had and everything on that portion of that. So when first I was looking at the young lady right here, what's her name? What's your name?
Kala.
And then what did you play?
Moxie.
Moxie. Okay. So when I was watching her expressions. I kind of like, okay, something's going on with her, but she's not ready to talk about it. And as I start watching her, she was like really, I was at the point ready to cry too, but I like held back the tears, but I could feel her pain and what she was going through. I don't know if that was because of the training that I did get, being mental health first aid certification, and where I will be able to assist in that, So she just kind of like, okay, come on, you're gonna have to bring it out. We're gonna have to hear it. She's gonna have to deal with it and everything. So pretty much all of you dealt with what was happening in your life as teenagers and everything, but I could identify with you guys doing that because I did take them type of classes that for me to be a mentor.
So the climax.
Yeah, it was kind of like started out with her, and I'm like, okay, let me go. Let's start listening to everyone else, and then I just sat back and kind of like, yeah, I may close my eyes, but I was listening to what you guys were saying, and that's kind of like what I knew there was something that needed to come out of her. Yes, she was like, yeah, I'm like this, and but there was something else. I kept looking at you, and I was like, come on, you're going to have to deal with it. Okay? You're going to have to deal with it.
So the climax, when she's
Sister.
talking about her mom. Yeah.
Yes.
Maru, how about you? Where do you see the climax?
I think that there are several climaxes, and I would go with the characters. So it's well written in a way that they mix together, and it's not one story; it's the three different stories all intertwined to the point that we have the different climaxes, and it gets you to a different conclusion. Not all at the same time. It's not an explosion. It's very well paced.
So the characters each have their different ones.
I just want to echo that, because that's what it was. There wasn't one climax. Each character has their moment to experience what they need to experience. You know, the anger, the fear, the manic. They all have that moment, and they all reach that moment where the audience can see where they're at the edge, and then they're able to bring it back down. And what makes it so wonderful is that after they've all reached that climax, they're brought back down and they can tie it together. And that's what makes this so cohesive and beautiful.
Anyone else want to? Yeah, go for it.
This one's really quick. I think that with Gravity leaving the group, that was kind of a catalyst, but I think with Moxie leaving the group, that was the climax. And for somebody who does struggle with like mental health issues, that was an oh shit moment for me. When Moxie left, I was like, oh God, where are we going? This can go a couple of different ways, and I really don't know which way it's going to go right now.
Any other climax moments or moments where you felt, I as an audience member don't know which way this is going to go?
Just dittoing Cece.
Dittoing Cece, great. Well, we are close to time. Is there anyone who has a last thought, anything to say to Megan? Yes.
I have a crazy thought to throw into the mix. I feel really strongly that Gravity is non-binary, and think that would be, yeah. I think that would. I felt it while I was reading it. I felt it while we were here in the room. I'm non-binary, and there were just like, it just like jumped off the page to me. I was like, this is clearly a non-binary person, and it. Like every time that Moxie would say like, yeah girl, or like, hey girl, to Gravity, I like kind of like felt weird in my body about it. It was like, this is like feeling like I'm getting misgendered. So just food for thought that like maybe there's some gender diversity in this character in addition to neurodivergency and racial diversity. So thanks.
Thank you so much. If there's something, yeah, go ahead, AJ.
I just wanted to say that I am very thankful for this play. I'm very thankful for this opportunity. Also because this is my first time doing anything this big in acting. So this is exciting. So, thank you, everyone who was a part of this.
If you have anything you want to say online here, anything that you didn't get to say tonight or that you think of down the road, if you're like me, you'll have a genius thought about this tomorrow, please go online, shoot us an email, fill out the survey, let us know anything you thought about today, the play, the experience. The main reason we do this is because our playwrights covet this feedback. It is so helpful in these plays in progress as they progress more. So thank you so much.
And I'm going to grab Megan, the playwright, and bring her to the computer there just to chat up and follow up with you all.
Okay, sure.
To say hi, I'll take that. Thank you all for attending, and have a good evening.
Thank you.